विशुद्धं विश्रुषतं नो वितनोतु विद्वान्। हरे कृष्ण।
तन्नो भवान् वै भगवत् प्रधानो महात्मैकान्ता परायणस्य हरेरुदारं चरितं विशुद्धं शुश्रूषतां नो वितनोति विद्वान्।
हरे कृष्ण। तन्नो भवान् वे भगवत् प्रधानो महत्मिकान्त परायणस्य हरेरुद्वारं चरितं विशुद्धं शुश्रूषतां नो वितनोतु विद्वान्। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण। तन्नो भवान् वै भगवत् प्रधानो महात्मैकान्त परायणस्य हरेरुदारं चरितं विशुद्धं शुश्रूषातं नो वितनोतु विद्वान्।
हरे कृष्ण। तन्नो भवान् वै भगवत् प्रधान महात्मैकान्तपरायणस्य हरेरुदारं चरितं विशुद्धं शुश्रूषतं न विदुनातो विद्वान्। हरे कृष्ण।
Anyone else would like to say? Okay, then I'll say. Tanno Bhavan Vai Bhagavat Pradhano Mahatamaikanta Parayanasya Harir Udaram Charitam Vishuddham Susru Satamno Vitano Tu Vidvan. Synonyms. Tat, therefore, na, of us, Bhavan, your good self, Vai, certainly, Bhagavat, in relation with the personality of Godhead, Pradhana, chiefly, Mahattam, greatest of all greats, Ekant, exclusively, Prayanasya, of the shelter, Harehe, of the Lord, Udaram, impartial, Charitam, activities, Vishuddham, transcendental, Sushruta Satam, those who are receptive, Na, ourselves, Vitnotu, kindly describe, Vidvan, or learned one. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charnarin Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Sutta Goswami, you are the learned and pure devotee of the Lord, because the personality of Godhead is your chief object of worship, of service. Therefore, please describe to us the pastimes of the Lord which are above all material conception, for we are anxious to receive such messages. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The speaker on the transcendental activities of the Lord should have only one object of worship and service, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the audience for such topics should be anxious to hear about him. When such a combination is possible, namely a qualified speaker and a qualified audience, it is then and there very much congenial to continue discourses on the transcendence. Professional speakers and a materially absorbed audience cannot derive real benefit from such discourses. Professional speakers make a show of Bhagavad Sapta for the sake of family maintenance, and the materially disposed audience hears such discourses of Bhagavad Sapta for some material benefits, namely religiosity, wealth, gratification of senses, or liberation. Such Bhagavatam discourses are not purified from the contamination of material qualities. But the discourses between the saints of Naimisharaya and Sri Sutta Goswami are on the transcendental level. There is no motive for material gain. In such discourses, unlimited transcendental pleasure is realized both by the audience and by the speaker. Therefore, they can continue the topic for many thousands of years. Now, Bhagavad Saptas are held for 7 days only. And after finishing the show, both the audience and speaker become engaged in material activities as usual. They can do so because the speaker is not Bhagavad Pradhana and the audience is not Shushrusatam, as explained above. Om Ajnanatimiradasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurulmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadikam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shah Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaganalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shah Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatane Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prem Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratushanama Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhudevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopikant Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishvahanu Sutade Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18 and text number 15. So again, I'll read one verse one more time. Tanno Bhavan Vai Bhagavat Pradhano Mahattamaikanta Parayanasya Harir Udaram Charitam Vishuddham Susru Satamno Vitano Tu Vidvan. O Sutta Goswami, you are learned and pure devotee of the Lord, because the personality of Godhead is your chief object of service. Therefore, please describe to us the pastimes of the Lord, which are above all material conception, for we are anxious to receive such messages. Hare Krishna. So here, this particular verse, I think before that, we are discussing the sages at the Naimisharaya. If you go back, like the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, we saw that like thousands of sages, they all gathered in the auspicious place called Naimisharaya. And the purpose of there, all the sages to come together is to do some welfare activity for the human society. It was the beginning of Kali Yuga, and all these sages, when they saw how degraded the life of Kali Yuga people is there. So if we go back and see in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.10, like where all these sages actually describe the effect of Kali Yuga on the people, where they say Prayana Alpaisha Sabhya Kalavasmin Yuga Jana Manda Sumanda Matyo Manda Bhagya Hupdruta. In that one verse, they actually describe that in this age of Kali Yuga, people are Prayana Alpayusha. Means normally, like Prayana means normal, most of the time, probably 95%, 99% Prayana. Sometimes it might possible that people have longer age. We see some people are living more than 100 years, but that's very rare. It's not common. But most of the time, people have short ages. They are not living very long. Average age is about maybe 75, 78, 80 years, somewhere in between. So people have very short age, short lives. And on top of them, they are quarrelsome. Prabhupada says that they are in the age of Kali Yuga is the age of quarrel and hypocrisy and age of disagreement. In this age of Kali Yuga, the disagreement is very common. As soon as there is one more person, whether that person be your wife, your husband, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, there will be disagreement. No two people can agree, because everybody has their own opinion, even though both are correct, both may be looking from different angles, but there is a disagreement, and that disagreement goes and goes and goes on, and that becomes like a this nature of Kali Yuga, disagreement. And because of that, there is a the environment becomes so poisonous that people can live together. That's another problem. So they are quarrelsome. Prabhupada said that, translate that in this age of Kali Yuga, people are quarrelsome. On top of that, they are lazy also. Lazy in the sense that not because they don't want to work or they don't work. People are very hardworking in this today's society, but they are working for a wrong thing. They're working for material enjoyment. They're working for sense gratification. They are lazy in the sense of spiritual upliftment. Means the point what Prabhupada explained there is that people are not interested in spiritual life. Hardly people want to come and associate with devotees or come to the temple or do devotional life. It's very difficult because they are lazy in that term. And on top of that, some people are misguided. Even if some people are interested in doing the spiritual life, but they are misguided. They are going in a wrong direction. And on top of that, people are unlucky also. There are many people in this material world who are basically in the name of religion, they are cheating other people. So some people who are not lazy, who are not misguided, but they are being cheated by the other people. And on top of that, Updruta, they are disturbed, always disturbed. Means because of this, today in the Kali Yuga, people have no time to focus on spiritual life. Something is always going on which dragging them back to the material world. Right? These are the qualities, and these sages, they're very eager to find a solution to these problems for the people in general. And they ask many questions. We all gone through those questions, the important 6 questions they ask. And then after that, Sutta Goswami answered those questions. We saw that. Now, in this 18th chapter, they are again showing their eagerness. The main point here is that in order for us to get the benefit of Bhagavad Katha or a spiritual discourse, is that a listener or a hearer should show their eagerness to the speaker. So here, there are two sections in this verse. One is the quality of the speaker, and one is the quality of the hearer. These two are very important. When this perfect combination is there, then we will actually get wonderful Bhagavad Katha. So we see the quality of the speaker and the quality of the hearer. So here, if we see the first 2 lines here in this verse, it talks about the quality of the speaker. Tanno bhavan vai bhagavat pradhano mahat tamekantaka parayanasya. So there are many qualities a speaker should have, but the number one, the topmost quality of the speaker is that he should be a pure devotee of the Lord. That's the number one quality. Means, what is the meaning of pure devotee of the Lord? The pure devotee of the Lord here, these sages are qualifying that if you are worshipping Lord Krishna exclusively, and your only object of worship is Lord Krishna, then you are a pure devotee. This is what they are saying, that you are a learned and pure devotee of Lord because personality of Godhead is your chief object of service. So we see the pure devotional service described by Srila Rupa Goswami, Anya Bilashita Shunyam, Gyan Karmadyanavratam, Anukullena Krishnanushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. So this is the definition of Uttama Bhakti, or the pure devotional service, given by our Acharya, Srila Rupa Goswami, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So in that verse, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Anya Bhilashita Shunyam, Gyan Karmadyanavratam, Anukullena Krishnanushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. So in the third line, he says that what is devotional service? The pure devotional service is when a person actually perform service for the pleasure of the Lord Krishna. Anukulina Krishnanushilanam. When from our body, from our mind, from our word, we do various efforts for the pleasure of Krishna, for the favorable service for Krishna. When any living entity performs service through his senses, from body, mind, and words, for the pleasure of Krishna, that is called devotional service. And that devotional service should be free from Anya Bilashita Shunyam. Means it should free from any material desire. Anya Bilashita means here the desires other than spiritual desires, the material desires. Anya Bilashita Shunyam. Means it should be devoid of all material desires. And Gyan Karmadya Anavratam. It should not covered by Jnana and Karma also. And plus Sankhya and other stuff. But main is Jnana and Karma, where it should, like, the purpose of devotional service is for the pleasure of Krishna, not to get any material benefit and not to get any advancement in the field of Karma and Jnana. The Karma and Jnana should be subordinate to Bhakti to help, not to basically supersede. So it should be uncovered by the Jnana and Karma. That Bhakti is called pure devotional service. So here, like all these sages, they are saying, you are learned. So there are two qualities actually mentioned here. Learned means here, a person should be well known in the subject matter of Lord Krishna. Science of Lord Krishna. Means a person should be well versed about the Vedic literatures. A person who is not really understand proper Vedic literature, he cannot speak about Srimad Bhagavatam, because Srimad Bhagavatam means a person should have like studied Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures very nicely, so that he can really describe the qualities of Lord Krishna, the activities of Lord Krishna, and all these pastimes of Lord Krishna very nicely. So you are learned and the pure devotee of the Lord. That's why you can actually describe the Srimad Bhagavatam. So if we see, all these qualities were there in Sutta Goswami. It is not that like here these sages are doing buttering to like Sutta Goswami. You saying, oh man, you are such a great person. Like just chat. Sometimes we basically, even though person is not qualified, we make him like, hi, oh, you can do it like that. It is not just to basically make him happy. It's not like that. It is genuinely. It is genuine that Sutta Goswami was like a very he's a pure devotee of the Lord. He was very advanced devotee because he heard the Srimad Bhagavatam directly from the lips of Sukadeva Goswami. When Sukadeva Goswami was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, at that time Sutta Goswami was also sitting there. And he directly heard from the lips of Sukadeva Goswami each and every word. And because of that, he actually like become well versed in Srimad Bhagavatam. It's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam itself that at the end that Sukadeva Goswami told that this Sutta Goswami is going to speak the Srimad Bhagavatam in the forest of Naimisharanya to the thousands of sages in the future. And that's what the time here. Here they are recognizing Suta Goswami for his qualities as a pure devotee and his qualification of understanding Srimad Bhagavatam directly from Sukadeva Goswami. These are the two important qualities a person should have who is speaking the Srimad Bhagavatam. And so that's why they are urging, they are requesting, they are falling at the feet of Suta Goswami to please describe the pastime of the Lord. Now, along with that, on one side they are glorifying the Suta Goswami for his devotional service, for his pure devotional service towards Lord Krishna, and his advanced expert knowledge in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and all other Vedic literatures. They are also showing their eagerness. They are saying that we are anxious to receive such messages. So first of all, they are interested in the message, which is the Srimad Bhagavatam. And second thing is that they are showing their eagerness. So this is the number one quality for a hearer. If we want to get the value, if you want to get the full benefit of Srimad Bhagavatam, the important point is that we should be very eager to hear. If we are not eager to hear, if you are not anxious to hear, then even though a speaker might be a wonderful devotee, or maybe you might be hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam message, it will not going to benefit us. See, if we have generally, like when we say chant Hare Krishna, the chanting process is there. So we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada has told us like there are 10 offenses we have to avoid in order to make progress while chanting the holy name of the Lord. So those offenses we have to have every day. We have to like make sure that we are not making that offenses if we really want to take the full benefit of chanting Hare Krishna. Similarly, like in hearing, the main thing is that we should be very eager to hear. Our offenses in Srimad Bhagavatam is while hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we are doing other type of works, or we are not attentive, or we are basically like trying to do multiple tasks. Many times we have seen some devotees that chant while Srimad Bhagavatam is going on. That's not good, because Srimad Bhagavatam message itself is directly Lord Krishna. So a person has to actually focus on one devotional service at a time, because your sense is we are not that like we are only one person, we can focus only on one thing at a time. So many times we have seen that people are basically like chanting, which is not recommended. If you are chanting, please chant separately by focusing on chanting. And if you are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, you hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Both are equally powerful. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that out of 64 devotional service, the 5 devotional service is very powerful. And one of them is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam Shravanam is one of the powerful things. Along with chanting Hare Krishna is the second one. Then Murti Seva, worshipping the deities in the temple, and Dhamvas, staying in a holy dham or in a temple, and association of devotees. So these are very powerful methods for devotional life, and one of them is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is very important that we should be very eager to hear. And each and every word coming from Srimad Bhagavatam is spiritual in nature. That's what Prabhupada mentioned. So let's go to purport what Prabhupada says that the speaker on the transcendental activity of the Lord should have only one object of worship and service, Lord Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is called Ananya Bhakti. Ananya means like a person who is speaking on Srimad Bhagavatam should not worship anyone other than Srimad Bhagavatam or other than Lord Sri Krishna. Anyone who is worshipping other demigods or other deities and all, for them they really cannot speak that purely Srimad Bhagavatam when the person who is actually the pure devotee of the Lord can speak. That's why this is one of the main important qualities that Srila Prabhupada mentioned here. And the audience for such topics should be anxious to hear. When such a combination is possible, namely a qualified speaker and a qualified audience, normally what happens is, like, which is not good actually. Why? We have seen that when some big devotees or some like a person who is very known person come, many people shows up like in Bhagavad in classes, and they paid attention. But when somebody who is not very I would say very famous, so then people don't take that seriously. That is not good. If you are sitting in the Srimad Bhagavatam Katha or Bhagavad Gita, doesn't matter who is speaking. Like, we should pay our attention. It doesn't matter that whether that person is a famous person or that person is not a famous person, or like judging that is basically also making an offense actually. So we should have, if we are hearing, we should be a qualified audience. Qualified audience, what Prabhupada qualified here. And the speaker also, person who is speaking, should actually follow the exclusive devotional service to Lord Krishna. So that's the point. If we are basically worshipping Lord Krishna as our only object of worship, then we can actually speak on Srimad Bhagavatam exclusively. So that's why Prabhupada said that it is then and there very much congenial to continue discourse on transcendence. Now, in the next part, Srila Prabhupada actually mentioned that what is going on in the age of Kali Yuga. Up till now, Srila Prabhupada actually given this is the ideal way of speaking Srimad Bhagavatam and ideal way of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. But what's happening in the today's material world is that there are professional speakers and a materially absorbed audience. Completely opposite thing, So now in today's society, we see in many places, there are people who are speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, but they are getting a lot of money out of that. So what Prabhupada says that professional speakers means their job is basically to just speak Srimad Bhagavatam for material benefit, not for spiritual advancement or not for preaching purpose. So professional speakers in materially absorbed audience, and similarly on the other side, the audience is also materially absorbed, means they are coming there to get some piety. Many people come to like we see in Srimad Bhagavatam, people come, okay, let me go to this katha or this discourse, and I will get some pious activities, and I'll get some pious credit, and with that I will basically get more material advancement. So this is what Prabhupada mentioned here, like materially absorbed audience cannot derive the real benefit from such discourses. And why is that? Because Srimad Bhagavatam, if you use for the material purpose, will not give the real benefit. Real benefit is the pure devotional service or going back home, back to Godhead. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vedvyas Muni already described Ramaha Prahojit Kaitavotra Paramo Nirma Saranam Satam Vedyam Vastum Attar Vastu Shivram Tapataryon Mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krate Kimbha Parerishvara Sadhyo Hridi Avruditrah Kritabi Susubish Takshana. So in that, he already mentioned that Dharmaha Prahojit Kaitavotra. In this Srimad Bhagavatam, this Kaitav Dharma or this cheating religion is already thrown out. What is that cheating religion? The Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. This thing, like where people are doing some activity, like doing some dharma to gain some artha, to gain some material benefit. And from that material benefit, they are basically enjoying their senses. That is not mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is not for materially motivated people. Srimad Bhagavatam is for people who are nirma saranam, who are non-envious, whose heart is purified, who are only basically interested in only interested in Krishna. Because if somebody with that like a pure heart listens Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna immediately come in their heart and sit there permanently. Takshana. So as soon as one decide to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, immediately Krishna comes in their heart and stay there permanently. So a person who is a professional speaker and a materially observed audience, they cannot get real benefit from such discourses. So what is going on in today's society? Prabhupada says that professional speakers make a show of Bhagavad Saptaha or for the sake of family maintenance. There are many reciters of Srimad Bhagavatam. They actually conduct this Bhagavad Saptaha. Their only purpose is to gain money. They charge hundreds of thousands of rupees and dollars to basically speak Srimad Bhagavatam. And they make a big pandal programs, and they actually like audience, all the audience comes. Their also motivation is also to get some material benefit. So these are basically going on. And that's why Prabhupada said the materially disposed audience hear such discourses on Bhagavad Saptaha for some material benefit. What is that? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. That's what I say, that Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha is already gone out from Srimad Bhagavatam. Religiosity, wealth, gratification of senses, and liberation. This religiosity is Dharma, wealth is Artha, gratification of senses is Kama, and liberation is Moksha. People who are interested in these, they will not be able to get the real benefit of Srimad Bhagavatam. Such Bhagavatam discourses are not purified from the contamination of material qualities. So even though Bhagavatam is pure, even though the Katha is, the Bhagavatam discourses, Bhagavatam topics are pure, but because it is touched by the materially motivated people, so this basically it's contaminated by the material qualities. Srila Prabhupada have actually instructed us that we should not hear like Kirtan or Hare Krishna Mahamantra from a materially contaminated peoples, because Prabhupada says that as a milk become poisoned by the touch of a serpent, and that poisonous milk will not give us the real effect, rather it will give the like a very dangerous effect. Similarly, even Srimad Bhagavatam, when it's touched by a materially motivated person, that benefit we cannot derive out of that. So that's why Prabhupada says such Bhagavatam discourses are not purified from contamination of material qualities. Even though it's a Bhagavatam discourses, even though they are speaking Bhagavatam, but because they are not purified, the Bhagavatam is not purified from there. The things that is coming from their lips is not purified. But the discourses between saints of Naimisharaya and Sutta Goswami are on transcendental level. This is what but what we are hearing right now, is basically the discussion between sages of Naimisharaya and Sutta Goswami. This is on transcendental level. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma cha me divyam evam vyeti tatvata tektva deham puranjanam neti mameti swarjuna. So like the Lord Krishna's Janma and Karma, the birth and activities of Lord Krishna, they are all on transcendental level. So, but that transcendental level, when is going to come? That is going to come when there is a qualified speaker and a qualified audience is there. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that my Janma and Karma means my activities, which is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, and my birth and my all activities are transcendental. But how do we understand that is transcendental? For that, we need qualified speaker and we need qualified audience. So that's the point, is that then it's on transcendental level. Otherwise, it's on a material level. So there is no motive of material gain. In the discussion between the sages and Sutta Goswami, they are not there to gain some material benefit. Rather, they are there for the benefit of the human society. So in such discourses, unlimited transcendental pleasure is relished by both audience and the speaker. So this is like when this discourse happen, between a qualified speaker and a qualified audience, in that case, the real transcendental pleasure will come. Real transcendental pleasure will come, and that is basically relished by all the people. Right? So that's why we see, like in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says that the evidence of that is Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in the chapter 10 and verse number 9. Matchitta matgat prana bodhayanta parasparam katyantascha mam nityam tushyanti taramanti cha. There Krishna says that my pure devotees, they are always thinking about me, and they have devoted their life completely on me. And because their life is always dedicated to me, when they meet each other, even a devotee meet each other, they talk about Krishna. And when they talk about Krishna, they talk each other about Krishna, and they're enlightening each other. And they're talking about Krishna. They really derive the real pleasure. See, the katha or the taste of the holy name or taste of the Bhagavad Katha will come when it is being spoken and discussed between the devotees of the Lord. It is always mentioned that Bhagavatam should be speak among devotees. Bhagavatam should not be speak to in front of non-devotees, because they will not relish it. It should be speak among the devotees, and everyone should get benefit of that point, because they can relish that katha. Because Bhagavatam is a transcendental subject matter. Only devotees can understand. Only devotees can relish that part. So that's why it is there that it is to be relished both by the audience and the speaker. And therefore, they can continue topics for many thousands of years. This is the point. Like when they basically when this katha is going on, it can go for many thousands of years. We see Sukdev Goswami spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj for 7 days and 7 nights continuously without a break. There's no break for prasadam. There's no break for like resting, stretching your legs, standing. So no, nothing. Continuous speaking, because it was a transcendental platform. It was going on so that nobody want to go away. Not even a single person goes for sleep. They were all awake. They were hearing each and every word so nicely that there's not a single person is basically can take their mind away from the katha. But here Prabhupada says that now the Bhagavad Saptah are held for 7 days only, and after finishing the show, both the audience and speaker become engaged in material activity as usual. So they come for Bhagavad Katha, but once they go out from Bhagavad Katha, they all engage in material activities. So what does that mean? What Prabhupada is saying here is that it is not that like when we are coming to Bhagavad Saptah or Bhagavad Katha, even for whatever time, that we basically are interested in Krishna and after that we engage in material activity. It has to be 24/7 that we should be engaged in Krishna service. Like Krishna told to Arjuna, Tasma sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmriddhacha. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna that you do your duty, you do your duty of fighting in the battlefield, but always remember me. So we are all come together and hear Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not that like after Bhagavad Katha is finished, now we do our own normal duty of doing material activities. The point is that while doing our duties, we should all remember Krishna. So that way, is basically we are always getting benefit of Krishna by remembering Krishna all the time. That's why Prabhupada say that like we should not engage in the material activity after Bhagavad Katha. We should be continuously engage ourselves in the service of Lord Krishna by 24/7, either chanting Krishna's name or hearing Krishna's pastime or doing work for Krishna or doing temple service, doing preaching activity, book distribution. All those activities we should be always doing for remembrance of Krishna. And the last time Prabhupada said they can do so because the speaker is not Bhagavad Pradhan and the audience is not Susrutam, as explained above. This is for the people who are not devotees or who are materially motivated people. They cannot continue the devotional life because they are materially motivated people. So in summary, what we see here, this particular verse where Srila Prabhupada explained, there's two qualities that we see on the speaker side. One is the pure devotee, that he should be first quality. He should be a pure devotee of the Lord. He should be like exclusive. He should be doing exclusive worship of Lord Krishna, and also he should be well versed in Srimad Bhagavatam and all other Vedic literature. And one important quality also, that the Bhagavad Katha should not be given for material purposes. In order to keep the Bhagavad Katha pure, this Bhagavad like a discourse is that should not be like materially motivated on the both side, both speaker side and on the audience side. And the quality for audience is that they should be eager to hear. They should be anxious to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. If there is no like no eagerness, then they cannot really they cannot relish the transcendental pleasure that is coming out of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So with that said, like I'll stop here and see like if there's anyone have any comment or any questions, or anyone who would like to share their realization.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for a nice advice. Yes, that if our audience are not listening properly, then the person who gives anything, gives lecture, it's not, it won't be relishable. Both person has to have knowledge, and then people have to listen thoroughly. That's what I always feel. Even singing also, if somebody sings, the audience are not listening, they're just like that, no knowledge, then there's no point of, the person won't have that interest to do that. So that's what I felt. Always, so if you are giving lecture, some people have to have attentive listening.
Yes.
That is the main thing. That is the main thing. See, all those sages, they were listening properly and they were asking questions and paying attention. That's why Sutta Goswami could do that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for nice class.
Thank you for sharing your realization. Anyone else would like to share?
Kaivalya Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice class. And you nicely described about the qualities, what qualification a hearer should have, because we are here, but we should have that qualification to hear it properly and understand it properly. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your blessings. Anyone else have any comment or question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Such
Hare
a wonderful class. I was just listening while working in the kitchen as well. I don't know how we can just focus in one thing in the morning, but I was paying attention. And the one thing I captured that, when you listen to Bhagavad, Krishna resides in your heart. Oh my gosh, that took me, I was just feeling him inside me, like, that's one thing we forget, that, Krishna is with you. You need to always remember him. He is with you. You need to take and walk along with him. Such a beautiful thing to actually remember. So I'm going to take this with me from your class. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your realization. Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else have any comment or question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Prabhu, today's verse was really, really nice, Prabhu, and you also explained it really nicely. Thank you so much for your nice explanation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Actually, Parikshit Maharaj, he listened in 7 days. How much attention day and night he did it. And that is a devotion, actually.
Yes, Mataji.
Now in this Kali Yuga, we do our material things, and then we cannot devote that much time to do that. That is very unfortunate.
Yes, ma'am. BC Kalpesh Prabhu, you are raising your hand. Any comment or question?
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances. So, maybe it's a question or clarification, I don't know. But let's say in this, what I was able to hear, that in that one of the thing which was brought up, that sometimes people give Bhagavatam discourses for like by setting up the pandal and all those things. But I mean, how can we really judge those things? Because there are some certain people who are really good at those also. They may be collecting money, but it may be to collect the money to preach for sometime. So sometime what happens is, if we belong to certain group of it, then we try to point finger at others, and which is I don't know, like, it's a good thing for a society, because we see that many people are in different devotional stages of their life, and they may be even trying to do certain thing, so one versus other is also something, not seeing Krishna in that, even though they are just using Srimad Bhagavatam for their Ajivika, which is so. I mean, sometimes I heard that from the people, and they really start sharing things in the social media, start abusing our like the preachers who are really doing those things. I think so. I think I understand from this classes. Prabhupada is talking about the extreme events here, where things are really taken in negative way, but it would still do the one versus other. In my, it's like in other people' mind, it will create a barrier. Um, it is like my belief versus your belief fight. Which is what society is facing. So that is what I wanted to clarify, or maybe you need to explain more on that, and like how can a devotee should see other devotee in very, like, that clarity should come, so that our heart is never seeing one versus other and trying to come out of that humility. Um, kind of thing. So that was one thing. And sometimes I have been practically asked, because see, we all try to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, but our basic is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. To get that Srimad Bhagavad Gita understood, then you can really dive into the Srimad Bhagavatam into depth of it. And the idea is to develop the love for the God. Um, but many people materially motivated in the society, they ask why one should really read or hear what are the practicalities of Srimad Bhagavatam. After hearing that, why should one hear? And I think so. I know the answer of it, but I would like to correct that answer. I know the ultimate thing is to love the God and perform the devotional service. That I know, but I think so. To people who are materially motivated and to bring them into the platform spiritual, the idea is to also see that as a society, the relations between one man to other man are getting distant. So at least it is trying to bring together by the idea of universal fatherhood with universal brotherhood kind of thing. So that one thing, and number two is also seeing every living like human should see the all living entities like animals, plants, and all things also belong to like have some respect towards that. The third is the prakriti, the nature itself, have some respect towards that. If those three things are like, people can understand from material platform too, So that was my like answer for like people who are materially motivated to at least to get them started. But how would you respond to those things? These are the two things I wanted to ask.
No, say, Prabhu, yeah. No, thank you very much for your for analysis, your comments, and your this question. One thing that we need to understand is that Srila Prabhupada actually presenting here what is basically mentioned here by the Vedvyas Muni. So yes, as you say, there are people who are basically like performing big pandal programs, and there is some benefit for that. See, we are not denying, or Prabhupada is not saying that doing those things will have no benefit. If you see what Prabhupada is saying is that the real benefit. See, we need to understand when Srila Prabhupada is talking about, like here, I'll show you. Where such where the Prabhupada says real benefit.
It's the fifth line of the purport at the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here say that professional speakers and mentally absorbed audience cannot derive real benefit from this. So the point is that here, Prabhu, our goal is not to say that what people are doing right or wrong. Here, Srila Prabhupada's goal is that to all of us, we are followers of Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada is saying to all of us that we should not get distracted by those discourses. There will be going on in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, these things will be happening. But how can we become pure devotees? Srila Prabhupada wants all of us to become pure devotees. So we are taking this on our side. We are not saying other people are doing wrong, or it is for devotees. This message here, Srimad Bhagavatam message, Srila Prabhupada is giving for his followers, for people who are Gaudiya Vaishnavas, that you should follow this thing if you want to become pure devotee. If we are not interested in become pure devotee, that's fine. Then like that's a separate thing. But if we really want to get the real benefit of this Srimad Bhagavatam, that we should stay away from that. It will be happening, and we are not saying that there's no benefit that they are not getting. They are getting some benefit. See, like as we say, like anyone who come in contact with Krishna, anyone who come in contact with Bhagavatam, they will get definitely benefit. It's not that they will not get benefit. But here Prabhupada talks about real benefit. The real benefit is mean how you can quickly achieve pure devotional service. You might take many lifetime to become a devotee. But that's what Prabhupada's intention was not that. Prabhupada want us to become pure devotee if possible in this lifetime itself. And Prabhupada say that please try your best to get out from this material world in this lifetime only. Srila Prabhupada want us to become pure devotee as fast as possible. So he's just basically giving us, all of us, an advice that this is, yes, there will be discourses which are materially motivated. They are like, and as you're saying that, how do we know what they are doing? Sometimes like they might be doing, their motivation might be good. If their motivation is good, both speaker and the hearer, we have no problem. We are not saying that we are not challenging a person's motivation, personal. Like we are not giving somebody's name. Okay, this person have this motivation. We are not judging people on that. Here it's a general instruction that how should we conduct. Like what Prabhupada is saying, that how should the devotees from ISKCON, how should they do it? They should not go for any discourses for material purposes, and we should not hear Srimad Bhagavatam for material purposes. That's the goal. It's the instruction for Prabhupada to all of us. And when you say talking about respect, yes, we respect all the living entity. That's why we are preaching. Preaching definitely means like we want everyone to take devotional life, devotional service. But Prabhupada always sees everyone as a part and parcel of Krishna. Prabhupada always taught us that we are all devotees of Krishna, but that does not mean that we other people we should not give respect. We have to give everyone full respect. Even in the Srimad Bhagavatam, at one place, I'll tell you, in Srimad Bhagavatam in 10th canto, one place, Lord Krishna says that we should offer Dandavat Pranam to all the other living entity, even a dog or a donkey. So from our side, we are giving respect to everyone. There's no judging people like why if a person is materially motivated or person is not doing devotional service or other Vaishnavas. We are not judging that. This particular instruction is for our upliftment, so that we should not get distracted by material motivation. We see pure devotional service is our goal. That is what we are looking for. And that's what Prabhupada wants us to keep track, so that even Srimad Bhagavatam or chanting Hare Krishna, we should avoid offenses. We should basically make sure that our Srimad Bhagavatam discourses are pure from both the speaker side and from the hearer side. It should not be materially motivated. That's why Prabhupada wants us to become pure devotee as much as possible. And as you're saying, like looking all other people, giving full respect. Yes, there's no question of not giving respect. Respect is everywhere. But again, when you become coming to the platform of Madhyamadhikari, when you're preaching, you have to discriminate. You have to say, okay, like this person is non-devotee, this person is devotee. That is the way, that is the platform that they have to preach. But that does not mean that we are disrespecting someone, or it's not that like we are not giving what the other people are saying. Yes, as you said, that we have to engage the whole society, and that's why Prabhupada want everyone to come to this this movement of Krishna consciousness, irrespective of caste, creed, nationality. Doesn't matter which place you are, which country you are, what race you are. Everyone are welcome, because we are not considering body. We are only considering everyone on the soul platform. We are considering that everybody, every living entity is a part and parcel of Krishna, and they have right. Because Krishna is our father, Krishna is our father. So every son has an equal right on the property of father. So we, as we are all part and parcel of Krishna, we are all son of Krishna. So everyone have right on the bhakti or serving Krishna. So there is no discrimination from that perspective. The only point is that here, when Prabhupada is qualifying this, is to basically, if we keep our discourses, if we keep our devotional life free from material contamination, then we can make real progress. That's what I can say. People like I don't. Is that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you said a lot of things, but I think I did understand. But I just wanted to say one more thing. The idea is, when we are practicing something, we should really not, if possible, if somebody is trying to do some religious work, and it is their faith, if they believe it, then we should not really try to really look at their thing. And because I have seen like people, then when they start doing this devotion practice, and when they are themselves not pure, right, and then they start seeing others also like complaining, or they think these are bogus and all those things, and then they start criticizing, whereas they don't even know that person in totality. They don't live with him, they don't see, and then they start talking a lot of stuff, about that person and that organization or anything like that, and the whole focus becomes that. And it happens is, we are only fighting between our religious to religion people. The idea is to fight against that the people who are drinking alcohol, people who are like engaging gambling, people who are doing illicit sex, and all those 4 regulative principles, the source of all sins. But we kind of have short-sighted, and then of course I know we have to discriminate and assess things. Like we cannot like, if somebody is thief, we should call him thief. That's what Prabhupada says. We cannot say that, oh, he is not thief. That discrimination should be there always. But this should be, it should be very, like, this is very, we should be very careful in our humility, like practicing this devotion, that even if we don't like it, we should not really say things about them. It's okay. We should not talk to others. That was my, because I have seen that it is like one spiritual leader versus another, kind of, and then we kind of and then the people fight with each other. Clarification is fine, but like then like just trying to just say that they are not doing right, and I'm the one who is dying right, and then that's where the fight begins. My belief versus your belief fight.
Yes.
That was my whole intention, and I wanted to say very openly this stuff because I have, after coming to the devotional life, I have faced those kind of conflicts more and more, because people always talk about some more about really, but they have not talked even like about any criminals. They have not talked about the society issues, but they will start focusing on this. So that is where, like, okay, which is very troublesome, that people are fighting among the religious to religious people only.
Yeah, no, Prabhu, that like no, what you said is like, but I would say those people are immature. No, don't focus on them. If people see the mature people who are like understand properly, they don't do this kind of things. And I don't really pay attention to those immature people. Rather, they should actually learn, because these things will take time. Because as soon as, see, Prabhupada never give anyone a freedom to criticize anyone or judge anyone. So right, why main thing is that we should concern about our own devotional life. We should basically focus on our own chanting, our own sadhana, and we should basically we should try to become a pure devotee. Then we really can basically preach. And even while preaching, there's no scope of criticizing other people. There's no scope. Point is that we are presenting Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam through our Guru Parampara, through our Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara. And there's another point. Some, as you say, like judging people or some other people like for what they are doing. It's not our intention. It's not what Prabhupada wants us for us to do. What we are doing, we are presenting what we are doing. That's all. So if somebody like what you're saying is that people are judging, saying something about that is wrong, if they are doing, they should stop it. Main point is that we are basically practicing what the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, teaching of Srila Prabhupada, in what is we are getting Guru Param. That's all. We are concerned about mostly our own spiritual life, and we want to spread this knowledge because this is the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's all. I would say like that. But I would not focus much on those people who are talking about this. Rather, we should say like, please don't do that, because that's not a good idea. All right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you very
Hare
much,
Krishna.
everyone. So time is little late, so we have to end our call now. Thank you all for joining today morning. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Panchakalpatarubhyasya,
Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhuve
Bhavya Bhaktana Pavanaka Vaishnava.
Anant Puri Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Hare.
Shri Bhakti ki jai. God.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.